where we break down the biggest stories in global politics with a focus on Latin America and beyond. Today, we're diving into something quite intriguing that's been making waves in international headlines. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's recent call for unity among Americans, all with an eye towards fostering peace across the entire Americas. It's a message that came straight from a rally in Caracas, captured in an exclusive interview with CNN, and it carries some serious weight given the turbulent history between Venezuela and the United States. So, let's unpack this step by step, exploring what was said, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of our hemisphere. First off, let's set the scene. It was just a couple of days ago, on the 13th of November, during a massive rally in the Venezuelan capital. Maduro, who's been at the helm since 2013, was speaking to a crowd of supporters when he turned his attention northward. In an interview with CNN's Stefano Pozzebon, he delivered a direct appeal to the people of the United States. Speaking in Spanish, he urged Americans to unite with Venezuela for the peace of the Americas. His exact words were something along the lines of, "The people of the United States should unite with Venezuela for the peace of the Americas. No more wars." It's a plea that's both bold and unexpected, especially coming from a leader who's often been at odds with Washington. To really understand the gravity of this, we need to rewind a bit and look at the broader context of U.S.-Venezuela relations. For decades, these two countries have been locked in a complex dance of diplomacy, sanctions, and ideological clashes. It all intensified under Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez, who championed a socialist revolution that challenged U.S. influence in the region. After Chavez's death, Maduro took over, and things escalated further. The U.S. imposed heavy sanctions on Venezuela, citing concerns over human rights, democratic backsliding, and alleged corruption. These measures crippled Venezuela's economy, leading to hyperinflation, mass migration, and widespread hardship. Maduro, in turn, has accused the U.S. of imperialism and attempting to orchestrate coups against him. Remember the 2019 crisis when the U.S. recognized opposition leader Juan Guaidó as interim president? That was a low point, with tensions nearly boiling over into open conflict. But fast forward to now, in late 2025, and the landscape has shifted somewhat. The U.S. has a new administration in place following last year's elections, and there's been talk of easing some sanctions in exchange for electoral reforms in Venezuela. Yet, underlying issues persist. Venezuela's economy is still reeling, and regional disputes, like the ongoing territorial claim over the Essequibo region with Guyana, have raised fears of military escalation. Guyana's oil discoveries there have drawn international attention, with the U.S. backing Guyana amid concerns that Maduro might push for annexation. It's in this volatile environment that Maduro's call for unity emerges, almost as an olive branch extended across the divide. Moreover, this message aligns with Maduro's broader narrative of anti-imperialism. He's long portrayed Venezuela as a bulwark against U.S. hegemony in the region, drawing on the legacy of figures like Simón Bolívar, the liberator who dreamed of a united Latin America. By invoking peace in the Americas, Maduro taps into that historical sentiment, reminding everyone that the hemisphere has seen enough interventions, from the Monroe Doctrine to more recent involvements in places like Iraq or Afghanistan. He's subtly critiquing U.S. foreign policy, suggesting that Americans themselves are tired of endless wars and should push their leaders towards cooperation instead. But let's not sugarcoat it. This call for unity isn't without its ironies. Maduro's government has been accused of authoritarianism, with crackdowns on opposition, media censorship, and disputed elections. Critics argue that true peace starts at home, and Venezuela's internal divisions make his external appeals ring a bit hollow. Still, from a geopolitical standpoint, it's a smart play. In a world where multipolarity is on the rise, with powers like China and Russia bolstering Venezuela, Maduro might be aiming to diversify his alliances while keeping the door ajar for U.S. engagement. Imagine if this leads to talks on oil production. Venezuela has vast reserves, and with global energy demands, cooperation could benefit both sides. Shifting gears, what does this mean for the wider Americas? Peace in the hemisphere isn't just a slogan. It's a necessity in an era of climate challenges, migration flows, and economic interdependence. From the Amazon to the Andes, issues like drug trafficking, environmental degradation, and inequality demand collective action. If Maduro's words spark even a dialogue, it could pave the way for summits or agreements under organizations like the Organization of American States or CELAC. On the flip side, skeptics in Washington might dismiss it as propaganda, especially if Venezuela doesn't make concessions on human rights or fair elections. The U.S. has its own priorities, like countering Chinese influence in the region, so any unity would need to align with those interests. As we wrap this up, it's worth pondering whether genuine unity is possible. History shows that the Americas have been a tapestry of cooperation and conflict, from the Panama Canal to NAFTA. Maduro's call reminds us that ordinary people, Americans, Venezuelans, and everyone in between, have more in common than divides them. A shared desire for peace could bridge gaps that politicians widen. Of course, actions speak louder than words, so we'll be watching to see if this rhetoric translates into real steps. What do you think? Could this be a turning point, or just another chapter in a long saga? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay engaged.